Peace, Pharaoh here. We step to you in blackness. I was asked a question that came from thousands of miles away. It was just text to me, and I'm going to answer that question. The question that was text to me was, how do you verify the age of Egypt being a civilization that goes back 35,000 years? And I'm going to address that. Before we get into that, for the Christians, Muslims, Jews, or skeptics, or other people that claim that they have prophets that date back to a certain time period, like Moses going back to 1400 BC and King Solomon going back to 900 BC, all these dates. My question to everybody is, what are those dates derived from? A date can only be derived from a calendar or some type of radiocarbon dating or whatever style of dating it is, but usually a calendar is what one would use to date back a particular event that took place amongst humans. The Christians, Muslims, nor Jews have any such calendar. There's no ancient Christian calendar. There's no ancient Jewish calendar that's ever been found that's in a museum today. There's no ancient Jewish calendar. None of those calendars exist that can be found in any kind of museum. The dating system that we have today, that we use to mark a year, we use a 365-day dating system. Well, that 365-day dating system actually dates back to the Egyptians. So when asked how old the Egyptian civilization is, or any civilization is, as long as we use a 365-day system, we're actually using the ancient Egyptian system because they are the oldest civilization to have a 365-day calendar. The oldest known calendar goes back to the time of Djer, and this calendar was called the Sothic calendar. It was discovered in 1904 by Edward Meyer. And this calendar was a calendar that dated the heliacal rising of Sothis. That's what the Greeks call it. The Kemetians call it Sopti, which is the star that comes into existence every year that brings the flooding of the Nile every year. This is the oldest known calendar that was found. The actual calendar that was found actually dates Egypt back, just by using this calendar, to 4,241 years. Kemet actually goes back even earlier than that, but even contemporary archaeologists using this calendar say that it has to go back past the time of Narmer, which is 3200 BC. I'd like to show something right now. And this thing that I would like to show is found in the Museum of Italy, and it's called the Palermo Stone. And if we can get the camera right over here, the Palermo Stone. Right over here, this is the Palermo Stone that is in Italy right now. They have copies of it throughout the British Museum and Cairo Museum. And what this stone is an actual king's list. It is a king's list that dates Kemet back to its earliest king. The ancient Kemetians do not, and I repeat, do not say their earliest king is Narmer of 3200 BC. They say their earliest king is Ptah. This list and the list of Manetho, who is also an ancient historian of Egypt, dates back their time period to 35,000 BC. 35,000 BC. So the Egyptians themselves are saying on their own plates that their dates of their origins go back to 35,000 BC. There is something else over here that I would like to show, and this is the this is a royal king list of Seti from the Temple of Abydos that I'm about to blow up right here. And this is the royal kings list. And it's 76 kings from Narmer to Seti. This kings list also acknowledges that the time of the pharaohs go back to Ptah. I'm going to show another one right over here. See if we can blow that one up. Maybe this one may be clearer. Oh, that's the same one there. Sorry. That's the same one there. I'll go to another one over here. Okay, this is the ancestral chapel. The ancestral chapel of Thutmose. That's another king's list right there. These king's lists clearly state that the ancient Kemetians go back far past Narmer. Far past Narmer. I want to show something right here also. This is going to be right here. This is the oldest surviving calendar on Earth right now. The oldest surviving calendar right here is also, of course, a Kemetic calendar. This calendar goes back to around 1225 BC. I'm going to pull up a little bit of information on it. Okay, this is also found within the British Museum right here. Okay. Goes back to the 19th dynasty, around 1225 BC. Okay, when asked, and I'm going to put this right here. There you go. So, that's good. When asked a Christian or a Muslim to show anything, any calendar that they're using to date their prophets, they cannot show an actual calendar. All they can do is speak. This is an actual calendar here in Kemet, and it's the calendar of lucky and unlucky days. It is not the first calendar by far, but it is the oldest recorded calendar. The king's list that I just showed you are even actually older than that. Okay, you can put it back on me. Okay. Those are two things right there which show the dates of Kemetic civilization, things that you can actually research. The World List of Abydos and the Palermo Stone, stating that their civilizations go back 35,000 years ago. Now what I do is I will give, and when it's getting close to 10 minutes, remember? What I'll do is I'll give the researchable information from the Kemetians themselves, and now we're going to jump into modern day information, modern day history. We're going to go into an article called Human Affinities by A. Thoma, and I'm going to grab that article right here. And this is an article here, A. Thoma, Morphology and Affinities of the Nazca Man, and discovered in Upper Egypt in 1980. The oldest human skeleton ever found, Nazca Man, was the earliest modern human skeleton found near Luxor. The remains were dated between what time? 35,000 and 30,000 years ago, which just happens to be the same time that the Kemetians say that their pharaohs ruled. You have the oldest skeleton, but this just wasn't a skeleton here. I'll read it again. It says that the skull was suggested of Negroid morphology, of course, obviously. Negroid morphology, what else could it be? But they said it looks close to the average Negroid. The burial was of a young man, 17 to 20 years old, with a flint tool. He was laid carefully on the bottom of the grave. Dates the burial to contemporaneous with the nearby flint quarry. The morphological features of the Nazca skeleton were analyzed by A. Thoma. The 35,000-year-old skeleton was examined using statistical procedures. This skeleton was not just a skeleton found, but in actuality it was a burial with a flint tool. That means that there was culture, civilization, and technology. We're going to continue with part 2, and this concludes part 1.